Hello and welcome. I'm your host, William Lou. You are listening to the Raptors Reaction Podcast. As the Raptors take a 130 to 122 win over the Sacramento Kings. Huge shout to anybody who's staying up late to watch this one, especially on the day where, actually, really rare day in Toronto sports. The biggest news, obviously, the Toronto Blue Jays take Game 4 against the New York Yankees by a score of, I believe, what was the final score? 6-2? Maybe 6-2 at the end? To advance into the American League Championship Series. The Toronto Maple Leafs opened the season with the win over the Montreal Canadiens. And, of course, the Toronto Raptors are still in preseason, so it doesn't count. But rare day, 3 wins for the Raptor for the Toronto Sporting city as a whole, as the Raptors win 130 to 122. Flying a little solo here tonight. Tried to get Alex on for a little bit of Jay slander, but for reasons I can't mention, he is not here with me. But don't worry, I'll do my best to hit a couple of DAAA Yankees lose as we go later on in the program. But first off, obviously, leave your comments in the chat here. Leave your questions. We'll get to them when I get a chance to take a break and go through some of your questions. But yeah, man, this was a really good performance for the Raptors. I gotta say, I mean, the game wasn't actually nearly as close as it looked in the end because the Raptors won by 8. But that was largely because the Kings scored 44 points in the fourth quarter. I'm not gonna lie to you, the Raptors got up to a big lead, and there was certainly a lot of like chickens running without their heads, basically, for the Raptors' third/fourth unit. Like, I don't even know what they were doing. They were just throwing the ball around. But whatever. Like, for the all intents and purposes, the Raptors were up like 20 points heading into the fourth quarter, and it was a pretty chill game. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it was a really fun game. And to be honest, I didn't know what to expect going into this one. Obviously, the Raptors played a very different opponent. The Kings are, obviously nowhere near the level of the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets, I thought their starters just thoroughly picked the Raptors apart offensively, and then the Raptors bench was able to make up some of the gap, but the Raptors obviously lost that game against Denver. It was quite close in the end. This one, the Raptors starters, I mean, the reason I said I didn't know what to expect is because not only do they continue to be without their two bigs in Jakob Poeltl, who continues to have a sore back, even though, by the way, he did play with no real complications at all in the open practice in Calgary, but he has yet to play in any of the first 2 preseason games. So they don't have him. They don't have Alwar Shamshay, who was said to be getting scans on his hand. It was, I believe, his left hand. We saw in a soft kind of brace. So it's unconnected to the knee issue that ended his season last year. And then late to the thing was like Scotty was also ruled out for this one. I honestly don't even remember what was happening because, quite frankly, I was I was focused on the Toronto Blue Jays. So I was not necessarily looking through the injury reports with great regard, especially for a preseason game. So I wasn't really sure what to expect. Because obviously the Kings have a lot of size. Domantas Sabonis, the King are getting triple doubles in a loss. Certainly was able to work a lot of dribble handoffs and just bully ways around the basket. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I saw like Brandon Ingram or RJ Barrett standing under the rim, trying to stop Sabonis from getting a layup. I mean, it's, what can you say? The guy's going to be getting easy layups in that situation. But I actually thought the Raptors played really well to start, and I thought the second unit came in and kind of really amplified their efforts. At one point, I thought the second unit was even playing better than the starting unit. But in any case, Stardust got off to a great start, largely because of the way they moved the ball, and the Raptors won today because they shot 20 of 37 from 3, which is quite nice. I believe the last game they shot like 10 of 40 or something. So certainly this was a better performance, 20 of 37 from deep. And a lot of that got started with Brandon Ingram, who continues to just shine. I know that like a lot of other guys played well last game too. We highlighted the efforts from Sandro Mamukelashvili. We highlighted the efforts from RJ Barrett. But Brandon has been, for me, like really enjoyable to watch, man. I mean, I think we kind of covered a lot of that last episode in terms of just how much this is something that the Raptors have not had in previous years, that this is a guy who can get you buckets at 3 levels. And I thought, honestly, the first game where he played against Denver, he got a lot of it on his own, right? And I highlighted this stretch where he had 5 straight plays where he made where he was working pick and roll, got double teamed, threw a cross court pass to IQ in the corner. Then he got to the foul line twice off the dribble, and then he got to mid range jumpers twice. And I was like remarking basically, like, I don't remember the last time the Raptors had a guy who single handedly and successfully created 5 straight baskets. It's certainly been a while. The Raptors have kind of lacked this like playmaker for a bit. Um, but that was largely Brandon getting it on his own. There was a couple plays, like he had a cut for an and one off of a play from Sandro on the inside. By the way, Sandro's got some nifty passes on him. We had a nice one today where he pump faked the defender, drove it, got into the lane, and then did a little shovel pass, kind of like, short little, little Magic Johnson tee, but like a little short little shovel pass. So I believe, who was it, Mobo? The guy couldn't finish the layup, so it wasn't an assist, but it was a really nice play by Sandro. He's got a couple nifty passes, but yeah, like Brandon did get a catch and shoot 3, I think, in that one, and also a cut, but a largely on ball. This one, especially the way he started the game, where he knocked down 4 threes in the first quarter, a lot of that was him playing within the flow of the offense, just like being in the right spots, spacing it out, not even necessarily moving into some of these threes, but the Raptors, without Scottie in the game, it was a lot more IQ and RJ dictating the action. And even though neither of them really assist that many times, RJ had 4, IQ had 4 as well. It doesn't like jump off the page, but I'm telling you, they really set a good pace for the game. They pushed it whenever possible. And yeah, Brandon was just the beneficiary of a lot of these open threes and just in rhythm, and it's just nice seeing him just catch and shoot and finish. Like, I think, look, tonight he went 7 of 15 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, got to the free throw line twice, knocked them both down for 21 points in 23 minutes for Ingram, basically scoring like a point per minute in preseason, which is nice. But man, like it's just nice. Like he's just dependable as a scorer. Like today, for example, I thought the Kings did a better job of maybe deterring and showing more size and resistance on his drives to the basket. And so he came up a couple of plays short inside the arc. But again, this is what it means to be a 3-level scorer. And honestly, like sometimes a 3-level score isn't like I'm going to show all 3 levels at all times. It's like, okay, you take away one of my levels, I got 2 more in me. You know what I mean? Like, so today they were taking away a lot of the drives. Okay, cool. So he got the midi and he also got the threes. And that's how you kind of have a player that's like really hard to stop from scoring. And, I continue to sort of be impressed by just how easily his teammates have taken to him as well. I don't know if you've seen, there's an Open Gym clip that was put up. By the way, Open Gym's been on a really, really good run to start the season. I mean, they're always great, but the training camps content has been nice. And I know for one of the days when we were out in Calgary last week for training camp, Darko had organized this big team dinner for like the whole entire team. The whole organization was out there, like staff, stuff like that. And, we got some footage from that. And apparently Brandon's the type of guy that'll like whip out a pack of cards, play a little Uno with the teammates. And it just feels like, whether that's his interactions with RJ, seems like those two have really been in a lot of things together. Him and IQ. Him and the second unit guys, like they kind of really like speak glowingly about him. Like he's just integrated really well. It feels like he's been here for a long time. And of course, if you see the interviews with him, obviously very soft spoken, but a little poetic, you know what I mean? A little poetic from Brandon. I was really, obviously me and every other outlet out there was hoping to sit down with Brandon Ingram. So I kind of got boxed out a little bit, which again, like, not a surprise when everyone wants to talk to the new guy. But I was researching through Brandon Ingram, and like he's an interesting cat, man. The guy, first off, he loves to fish. Which shout out to Kate Burness of TSN. She had a really funny interview with Brandon and actually touched on that at length. Brandon also like really into like sketching and drawing portraits. And actually, there's been some good stories written about him back when he was a rookie, sort of about his hobby. And so he's just kind of like, I don't know, like sometimes. Athletes obviously have such an involved job and they're so focused, and it takes so much out of you and demands so much of your time that they're kind of one-dimensional. I think that's kind of like the standard. Not to say they don't have lives outside of it, but they're kind of like stereotypical in a way. And I feel like with Brandon, like when you hear him speak, the more you get to know him too. It's just like he's very considerate. He has a couple thoughtful sort of quotes, and has a little touch of like just humor in sort of the way he um goes about it too. So I just thought, yeah, so far just the Brandon Ingram experience has been great. Just watching a guy get buckets, that was great for me. I thought also too, like the standout tonight, besides Brandon, was another newcomer. This being Collin Murray-Boyles, the Raptors rookie, who they took with the ninth pick in last year's draft. And I know everybody, especially us on this program, we're talking about, okay, Raptors need a center, blah blah blah. Like, like I think the whole thing with CMB is just the Raptors looked at who's the best player they had available on their board, and they just took him. And I know the fit is like, does he fit with Scotty? Does he fit with these other guys? There's a redundancy. But damn, I watch him and I'm like, he has a lot of skills that he's immediately bringing to the table. Like his defensive IQ is genuinely, like, it's not hype. It's not just like, oh, like, like we're trying to find some way to praise him and this is what we got for him. He's nice, man. He's nice. Okay, first off, I thought for me the play of the game, and there were a lot of good plays in this one. Jacoby went back to back for pull up threes over DeMar DeRozan, which I thought was fun. Mamo had those slick little passes. Brandon being hot from three to start the game, but for me the play of the game was one where he starts to play on defense on Domantas Sabonis. He's guarding a pick and roll where Malik Monk has the ball. Malik uses a screen, tries to get middle, and Collin switches off of Sabonis and instantly cuts off the drive from Malik. And by the way, Malik is very fast, obviously very athletic. So switches off, cuts off Malik Monk's drive to the basket. And then when Malik swings it to the perimeter, Malik relocates back out behind the three-point line and tries to go for a catch and shoot. And Collin not only closes out to him, but closes out so well on the contest that he gets a piece of the ball, gets a block. Brandon Ingram comes down with the rebound and kicks it ahead. Actually, a really nice pass, too, because he kind of put like a little bit of air, a little bit of backspin, but still with enough urgency on the pass where, he was able to, like kind of like a L1 plus triangle if you're a FIFA guy. Like, he's one of those passes where he just kind of like pitched it ahead, and Collin was able to hustle in front of Malik Monk, catch the ball, trap him on his back because he's way stronger, and then go up for the left-handed dunk while getting fouled with Malik Monk hanging off his back. And that, I thought, to me, was the sequence of the game where I think that puts the Raptors up like somewhere between like 12 and 13 points. But there was also a technical foul on that play, so the Raptors made a technical foul. By the way, I've been enjoying Emmanuel quickly shooting the technical fouls. Like, no more like politics or even just like strange sequences where it felt like anybody would go up for the free throw. Like, I hate when you got a technical free throw, anyone can shoot it. There should be no politics. It could just be whoever's the best free throw shooter on the floor at that time gets to shoot it. Like, there shouldn't be any sort of like, let's try like let's give a guy more points, or he's a star player. Let's give him the ball. Like, you see LeBron, for example, shoot a lot of technical free throws. I know LeBron's not the best free throw shooter on his teams, and it happens a lot with stars. The last two games we've seen when there's been techs. There was a tech on the Denver Nuggets head coach. What's his name again? Not David Adelman. What's his son's name? Whatever. The Nuggets coach, he got a tech. And then this game, there was a tech, I think, on Malik Monk. Both times those IQ stepped into the line and shooting the free throw. Why not? Because he shoots like 87% from the foul line. Like, he should just get it. And if he's on the floor, then whoever's next best at free throw percentages should be getting it. Like Brandon, for example. In any case, that play by CMB, I thought, was just like the exclamation mark, because the Raptors had been pushing their advantage. They had been doing a really good job forcing turnovers on defense. And then they've been running great offense. Like, I thought today their spacing was really good and their pace was really good. Like, again, like, all granted, this is all against the Kings, right? The Kings, and it's the Kings in preseason. So, like, I'm not expecting, like, like anything other than a win. But just a lot of steals, 16, no, not 11 for the Raptors tonight. Also, the Kings had 18 turnovers. And again, just the Raptors executing on the fast break. I thought I actually did a good job turning the Nuggets over in game one as well. but there just wasn't really a lot of like conversion on those for whatever reason. And today I thought the Raptors did a much better job of just like pushing the ball and then finishing. Lots of good sequences. And again, I credit like, the point guards. Like RJ played a lot of point for the starting lineup. IQ played a lot of point for the starting lineup. And then Jamal Shed always plays with a great pace, comes out the second unit. And these guys did a great job. Even Chucky Hepburn, who I got to give a huge shout out to, because the Raptors were up 20. Like I'm just chilling. Like I'm honestly like watching the game on one screen, and then I'm just like scrolling through, like, just just like savoring all those moments from the Blue Jays locker room celebration. Which, by the way, we will play some when we get to the Jays portion. Um, but I'm watching and I'm like, bro, like what are the Raptors doing? They keep like taking bad threes and turning the ball over, and like more importantly, just hacking guys. Like there's one thing about playing pressure defense, and there's just like the other thing is just like, okay, watching them just like do dumb stuff basically. But Chucky Hepburn was actually the guy who kept them calm. I thought he did a great job. He had a turnaround mid-range jumper. He had a wing three that was huge. But he came up with a lot of like steals and just deflections. I thought he did a really good job guarding the ball. And yeah, like towards the end, finally, you got some contributions. AJ Lawson hit a corner three. Elijah Martin got a nice backdoor cut off a pass from Chucky for a dunk, and then he had a wing three from Chucky on the perimeter. He knocked it down. So they had just enough offense at the end to sort of clinch it. But there was a real like push from the Kings, especially obviously your young group playing with a lot of energy. Guys like Caldwell Jones was dunking the ball like crazy. I thought, um, who's the rookie? Oh, Nique Clifford. Nique Clifford's been nice, man. Nique Clifford, I was impressed by him in Summer League as well. Obviously, an older rookie. I think he's already 23, but like definitely like a nice player. Um, but yeah, I thought they did a really good job making a comeback. But yeah, I got to give a lot of shout out to Chucky Hepburn for actually cutting off that run. But basically, I like the way the point guard play of the Raptors actually operated today. And it was a weird night because like you didn't really have a lot of traditional pick and roll. Again, like you don't have like Jakob Poeltl, for example, who would typically be your screener in a lot of these scenarios. So you got to play pick and roll with like Mobo, which it's not like he's not particularly good as a dive man. He's just a little bit too small, and honestly, it's a little easy to switch against Mobo. Um, you have Sandro in the second unit, who continues to be nice, and he was a huge positive tonight. Plus 16 off the bench in 17 minutes was great. Um, but like you still had like good spacing, you still had good pace, and there were a lot of good actions where the Raptors will get into an open position and then they'll give it the ball and they just make extra passes. I thought the unselfish nature of sort of the way the Raptors wanted to play, which has been the signature under Darko, hasn't really produced great efficiency in terms of offense. Although, granted, he hasn't had consistent talent, nor has he had like good talent. Um, but the way they moved the ball, I thought was really beautiful. And I thought honestly, like, yeah, Brandon was fit right into that identity. Like I didn't. I guess I don't know. Like there was this really like a lot of like when the Raptors traded for Brandon, this was like last or February, so like 6-7 months ago now. A lot of people were like, "Yo, he's gonna be a ball stopper. He's never healthy. Has he gonna fit? Like all this kind of stuff. Like, isn't there redundancy?" And I'm not trying to take a victory lap. I'm not trying to say that like after two preseason games, like I'm like hailed. I'm like, "Yo, the Raptors front office were geniuses for doing it." Um, but I'm watching and I'm like, okay, there's no redundancy because the Raptors clearly need his offense, right? Like we've it becomes more apparent once he starts playing with the guys. You're like, oh yeah, like the other guys who we had running the offense before this, just not on the same level as Brandon, especially as a scorer. Okay, so that's one. The next thing too is just like, okay, Brandon's gonna like hold the ball and he's gonna play a lot of ISO. Yeah, like that's kind of what happens. Like a lot of plays, like break down and they need to get somebody a shot, but it's not like this guy's unwilling to pass. I thought one of the nicest plays of tonight's game too was, I think IQ brought it up against full court pressure, um, and then slipped it to Mamu, who was short rolling to the basket. Mamu drew a closeout, so he swung it to Brandon. Brandon pump faked and drew a hard closeout from his own because again he's already at 5 threes at this point. And then kicks it right into the corner for Ochai Agbaji, and Ochai gets a wide open corner three and he knocks it down. I'm just like, this guy's not like what I mean, like no one would have blamed Brandon for taking out wing three, but this guy's been looking for guys, you know what I mean? And of course, like, as much as it would be nice to play make, and it is nice to play make, I also just want him to like get the shot up most of the time. So, again, so far it's gonna be a hit, man. It's been a hit, and it's gonna be a hit. And honestly, I also saw a little bit of this discourse online. And I actually really agree with this because I think it kind of just simplifies, the idea of Brandon on the team. It kind of makes the Raptors a lot more watchable, man. Like I think that you've seen a team that's been in transition, been rebuilding, and as much as I want to stay here and be like, you got to be around for like the work, right? Because if you're not interested in the practice and you only come to see the result, then like, what does that say? But I mean, also at the same time, like, I mean, yeah, I could say that, like, be on a soapbox and say that, but realistically, like, you this it's an entertainment product at the end of the day, right? So when you come to a game, you're probably like, I want to see somebody who I probably can't even fathom a level of getting to, and I want to see something fun, and I want to see something aggressive, and like the Raptors have been doing that, like their defense is like that. I think their defensive pressure has really carried over from last year, which was fun. But watching a guy who can actually score and watching plays that somehow now makes sense, like, okay, now RJ's. I mean, today RJ was kind of moved up a peg because Scotty wasn't there to run point, and so RJ had to run a lot more of it. And you saw the limitations, right? RJ drove to the basket a lot of the time. He got blocked a few times. 3 of 11 from the field is not particularly efficient, although it's nice that he was shot 3 of 5 from 3. Actually, him and Brandon have had nice, good synergy too, because there's small plays where like Brandon got to the middle, drew 2, and then kicked it out, and RJ's knocking down the 3. Like, he's been shot ready. He's been taking good shots, especially the ones where he's playing off the catch, which is largely how I'm going to evaluate RJ. And even IQ, I thought his shot selection was good. Like I thought he was hunting for the threes that he needed to. Got fouled for 3. And even though he couldn't really get it much in the paint, actually the Raptors started this game really getting blocked a lot in the paint for some reason. Ochai, RJ, IQ, all of them got stopped. But the ball movement was there and the intent was there. And I thought it was just, again, fun to watch. Granted, this is against the Kings, who start many, many bad honestly, I don't even think there's one good defender on the Kings. Maybe Keegan Murray, maybe. But, like, still, I don't even know. And even the hype with him, I mean, like, I'm sure he's definitely a guy I'm thinking going to flourish on a different team because Sacramento just has way too many cooks in the kitchen. But, like, the 2 for 9, 0 for 4 from 3, like, I don't know. I think, remember back then, like when Pascal was getting put on the trade block and the Raptors were like, okay, maybe we'll talk to the Kings, maybe we'll talk to the Warriors, like maybe we'll talk to Atlanta. Like some of the guys that they were like, nah, we can't put them on the table. Like Kobe Buffkin, or not, I guess Kobe Buffkin was cut, and then he ended up in Brooklyn now. But like, what were they saying? AJ Griffin, that guy's not even in the league no more, right? Who else, man? They were like Jonathan Kuminga. Bro, look at Kuminga. Look, he single-handedly derailed Golden State's entire offseason. And then even Keegan, who at that time was probably like the biggest name that like could have potentially been coming back. They're like, hard no. It's like, all right, well, enjoy this team that you have. So you know what I mean? Like it's kind of silly because people do fall in love with their prospects a little too much. Meanwhile, Pascal's gone on to be like Eastern Conference playoffs MVP and gone to the finals, and also to the conference finals, but. Regardless, whatever. The Kings sucked. It's not breaking news. So, anyway, I thought it was a fun game. I thought the second unit came in and played close to what I thought the Raptors did in Summer League as well in terms of the all-out pressure. I mean, there were plays where, like, Jamal Shedd's drawing moving screens. By the way, Jamal Shed, like, his energy on the bench is even noticeable because there was a play where IQ was guarding on the ball and there was a moving screen from Sabonis and IQ got clipped and fell over and the call was made for the offensive foul. And like you could see Jamal Shed on the bench holding a towel, jumping up and down, yelling. I was like, yo, you can't deny this man. Like his energy is amazing. Of course, Scotty was doing a lot of that too. Scotty's always sort of led the energy in that sense too. But even just having like, okay, Scotty and his little mini me, it was great to see, man. And I think they're just really encouraging each other all to basically, just play in this fashion. And, I was really happy for Gradey Dick too. Gradey got off to a auspicious start. Or not, it's like a auspicious is actually, I guess, good. Just a bad start. Like it was like, what do I have in my notes? He gave up a crossover, got crossed up, had to take a foul. Then another play where he got crossed up by Keon Ellis, who got the 3 off, and then Gradey landed in his landing space, so that was a 4-point play. And I'm just like, dude, what is going on, Gradey? Don't have another game like that. But then Gradey immediately locked in, and he knocked down a wing 3 to end the first quarter. That was great. Then he had an and one transition finish from RJ where he got like dragged midair, but he was able to finish with some strength. He had a alley-oop in transition from IQ. This is all to start the second quarter, by the way. Where it was RJ, IQ plus the bench, which might be an interesting look. You never know, but it looked good today. But IQ was able to push the break through the lob to Gradey, and then Gradey with a back cut. There was a sort of 5 out at that moment, but Gradey decided to back cut out, and Mobile found him back door for a pass. And I'm just like, that was a really good response because Gradey got off to like a shaky start again. A lot of that was self-inflicted defensively, but then he locked in offensively. And I think fundamentally with Gradey is, especially because I've seen, obviously I've covered every game of his career so far. Um, Gradey can just be, he's a little, he goes on runs, and he runs both hot and cold. He's, when he's cold, like I thought he was obviously pretty cold against the Nuggets, like you're like, dog, what does he do? Like defensively, he's getting crossed up by Bruce Brown, like he's missing threes, like he's, the physicality is there. And I was like, okay, that's fair. Honestly, like seriously, when he's not going, he's not going. But when he's on, like he's got like he just goes on these runs where he's able to string together like I don't know, like 10 points in a quarter, 15 points in a quarter. And there is a spurt ability about his game that I think he's just like, obviously he can do it. It's just about finding the consistency to do it. And I thought today, outside of the shaky start, he actually finished really well, 14 points in 15 minutes for the second unit. So I thought the second unit played well. And by the way, the battle between him and Jacoby Walter, Walter and CMB got to start the second half. So I guess Walter, even though, yeah, I mean, he's kind of been ahead of Gradey, if you want to say that, in the rotation. Um, but like Walter's not giving up any, ground in this race either. I mean, he's hitting mid-range jumpers off the dribble. I thought those were really nice, where he's just patient and he's able to come off a screen and get something good. Knocked out back-to-back threes over DeMar DeRozan at one point in the third quarter. Like, defensively, he's definitely ahead of Gradey. So just like, who do you pick? And even Ochai's been solid. Ochai, again, like I've said this, they're like the three Pokemon starters from Johto, or from Kanto. Okay. Grady's like your Charmander, little frail, but obviously has the highest offensive ceiling. Certainly could do the most damage and go on a heater. Ochai's kind of like Bulbasaur, like not exciting. It's cool that he learns like the three, powder moves at one point, but you're probably not going to do a ton of damage with Mega Drain, just like you're probably not going to do a ton of damage with Ochai offensively. And then you have your more balanced, like Squirtle, which is I think Jacoby in this case, right? Pretty good on offense, pretty good on defense. Not stellar on either end, but certainly a very balanced guy who can kind of carry you through a lot of the game. Like that's kind of who we have. And honestly, I'm happy that none of these guys are like, backing down from the competition. Like that to me is really fun. And it looks healthy too, because none of these guys are like forcing up shots and like trying to prove like I'm the man. There's a lot of little battles across the board. Like Chucky and Elijah are battling for that third string point guard position. I think Chucky's right now winning, although Elijah's certainly shown what he can do too. But it looks like Elijah's better off the ball, especially scoring wise. You got that, CMB versus Scotty competition. Obviously, Scotty's definitely going to be more established ahead of CMB, but you've heard about what RJ said, where like they're going at each other after practice every day. And when we watched the open practice, then Scotty took a tech because he was so pissed at Collin. Like I love that, you know what I mean? And I love that Jamal was always just pestering IQ, even though he speaks the world of him. He's always just going at him. Like those little battles are really, really nice, man. So, yeah. So it's been fun to cover this team. Today was like a really fun performance. If you didn't watch it, and I don't blame you, because I think when the game started, it was like the bottom, oh no, it's the top of the ninth, where the obviously the Jays game was still on, and of course the bottom of the ninth took a little bit of time too. But shouts to Jeff Hoffman who came through. I did not feel safe, even though I was. And shouts to him for getting that. It's not even a save, I suppose, but closing it out, which was huge. Big strikeout at the end, actually. So shouts to Jeff Hoffman for that. I think he deserves our support. All these Jays deserve our support. Even if you don't feel confident in them, just support them, man. It's the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, I'll believe these guys no matter what. But like, I had to come back to the game, and I was kind of catching up, and I was kind of like fast forwarding through like free throws and timeouts and stuff like that. It took me until like halftime to really catch up. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, damn, there's some good hoop in this, man. If you didn't watch it again, like go watch the performance there by the Raptors. It was a fun one. So we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna get a little bit of water. I'm gonna go through some of your questions here, do my best, hand out some stars, and of course we're gonna talk about How the Yankees lose? Let's go.
This show is brought to you by Simply Spiked. Will, I know summer's over, but you are not done with Simply Spiked, are you?
No, absolutely. This is my preferred drink of choice, as you know.
What do you prefer? What is your favorite flavor? Is it the lemonade? Is it peach? Is it limeade?
Number one is actually the blueberry, which I tried looking around my house. I don't even have anymore.
Well, good to know. It's not even anything I listed there. Hello and welcome, fans. If you're not sure what flavor you want to get yourself a variety pack so you can try each flavor. It really is the ideal drink for any occasion, from hanging with your friends to catching this upcoming Toronto Raptors season. Nothing will get you feeling refreshed and ready for the season like Simply Spiked. Fall is approaching, but there's no need for pumpkin spice when you got Simply Spiked.
Oh, very good. But no.
Thank you. I know this is an ad, but Will, you really love your Simply Spiked.
Absolutely is not a joke. I'm not kidding.
Pick up Simply Spiked at your local liquor store for your next hangout. Must be legal drinking age. Celebrate responsibly.
All right. It is time to take your questions. And, bear with me here because usually I have drummer Alex backing up the play right now. And they'll go through the questions as I'm talking. So just had about a minute during the break to go through a few of them. Kind of working my way backwards too. First question, I'm more worried about IQ than I am about Scotty, to be honest. I think he screens. He needs screens to make things happen. And I don't know how much advantages he created. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the one thing with IQ is he's not like a make something out of nothing point guard. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, okay, as soon as he gets a mismatch, he's going to, go blow by and attack that mismatch. Or, if he, has to create late shot clock, he can get up a shot no matter what. Like, he doesn't necessarily have that. And I'm not totally sure why. I mean, his handle's good. His range on his shot's good. He does have a mid-range pull-up. He does have a little floater if he wants to go to the rim. But I don't know. It's almost like he's too efficient with his dribbles. Like there's just not like like create something out of absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you're not seeing him drop guys, for example, or even just like shake guys, put guys on like on their skates, and then you see them create something. He does usually need a screen to sort of be effective. Obviously, that's where Jakob really comes in. I also think that honestly, like, I think other guys on this team need to get better at screening. I'm looking at Mobile, honestly Scotty as well. Sandro's actually decent at the screening, but he's mostly popping out. But at least that has value because he can shoot. I almost prefer that to like a firmer screen sometimes. And then CMB lays the wood on guys. Like, that's he's gonna drop a couple guys with his screens. He's very physical. But yeah, I do feel like IQ is best suited playing with like true 7-footers who can create that space. Like, even I guess in New York, he got to play with like who did he get to play with back then? Mitchell Robinson, like that type of player, like big lob catchers. Like, I think like that's probably the best style, or even him and Jakob. I honestly, I don't worry as much about the Scotty fit because I guess there's like proof of concept for me, because like we've seen when, and I know obviously like I saw there was a lot of crash outs about Scotty after game one. Honestly, like, guys, what are we doing, man? But I get it. Okay, I get it, because it's not about game one. It's about the overall arc of the team and the history of the team. So I totally understand. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, it does feel a little silly after game one, in my personal opinion. But the reason I'm not as worried about Scotty is just like there's proof of concept. Like, when he played in his rookie year, like, it wasn't like he had to have the ball all the time to be effective. In fact, he was very effective without the ball. He was crashing the glass. He was screening. He was playing multiple positions. He was, playing that short role. Sometimes playing the 5, sometimes playing the point. Like, that's just kind of what he is. I think the hard thing with Scotty is he's like pretty good at like, he's like a B student, like maybe a B plus student even, but he's kind of B plus across the board. So, when it comes time to like pick a major or figure out what program wants to go to university, like, he genuinely doesn't know, because he's like pretty much a B plus in everything. It's not like there's a standout, like he's a clear like humanities guy, or he's not a clear like sciences guy. Like, he's just kind of B plus across the board. And so like there's gonna be inconsistencies across the board. And honestly, I do think that like he's never struck me as like a how can I say this? He's definitely not a selfish player. Like, that there's none of that about him. But I do think the last couple of years, based on his standing, both where the team put him, where also he wants to be, and obviously where his contract is, like, also the trajectory of his career too, because I think expectations naturally change when you win Rookie of the Year and then make an All-Star team. It's like, okay, now I'm the guy. Um, but I also like if I were the head coach, like if I were the coaching staff, I would try to be like, look, you don't have to put up 20 points. You don't have to play like a star wing and have the ball all the time and break down defenses on your own. And because quite frankly, he's not good at that, and that's not gonna be good for the team if he did that, right? What's best for the team is when he fits in with all the other stuff that he does. Like if he can be 17, 18 points, but efficiently, like seriously efficiently, because efficiency was a real problem last year. But like 50, 17, 18 points on like 58 plus true shooting percentage, get me like 9 rebounds a game, like 7 assists, a block, a steal, get better obviously on the catch and shoot threes. Although to be honest, I was watching even like the open practice, like him and Collin Murray-Boyles probably the same level of shooter, which I found a little concerning for Scotty and a little optimistic for Collin. But like, so I know it's not gonna be a consistent thing, but like, you know, even like what Sean Marion was for like the 7 seconds or less Suns, like there's lots of successful versions of this type of player. And I just don't want like this insistence of like I need to live up to this image to sort of ruin like what he actually is great at. Because like if he's gonna try to play like Kevin Durant, or I guess he's never tried to do that, but like if he's gonna try to play like LeBron, like he maybe will do it once in a while and it'll look great. But like I don't think that should be the grand vision for this team. You know what I mean? And I think that's totally fine. It's totally okay. Yeah, like this comment here from Nathan. I think Scotty has the capability of being a triple double watch pretty much consistently if he gets things figured out. And I agree because there's actually more weapons around him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna come through a couple more of the earlier questions before I go to the later ones. Late to class question for later. Does the Leafs, Jays, and Raptors win count for a pizza party? It's funny because I was actually coming from a pizza party before this. I was with a couple friends of mine from the University of Toronto, so we're actually watching the game together, and that's been one of the more beautiful things too. Is just like, when sports are like important and where they're good, like they have this ability to really unify people and sort of like lock people into like a time and place and almost force people to get together. And like I'm watching the watch party and it was great. I had to leave towards the end of the 7th inning, like just after the Jays, extended their lead to I think 5-1. I had to leave because I had to come home to cover the game for the Raps. And I was like, okay, I'm like my head's buzzing. I'm in this room with like 100 people. Everyone's like all excited watching the Jays on a projector and having a good time. And then I'm like, I ride my scooter through the city. And I'm like going through the city, and like sometimes I like to, take the winding paths like in the off the main roads. So I could like mostly like residential places. Like I see a lot of houses when I'm like going past, and I'm like looking into the window because this is dark, so you can see the screens pretty clearly. And I'm like, house after house, everybody's got everyone's got a little gathering together, and they're all watching Jays. And I'm like, that's special, man. Like that's the energy that the Raptors obviously used to engender, right? And that's why it's so important. Like, I mean, I know it's just sports, I know it's entertainment, but like I don't think anything engenders like civic engagement on a small level of like seeing your friends, or on a citywide level by seeing your colleagues and your fellow citizens in the city. Like it's beautiful watching everyone actually do something together at once. We live in this age where obviously we have a million things pulling at you. You could be at dinner with somebody and both of you are on your phone on your own worlds looking at like Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or whatever. And it's just like so rare because there's so many things pulling you aside that you're actually locked in together on one thing. And like I think sports does that almost better than anything in the world, man. And that was really beautiful to see. And I was like kind of smiling in terms of like obviously I had the game on and had in my headphones. I couldn't watch them riding the bike. But watching that everyone else is in that moment too, I was like, that's cool, man. That was really, really cool. So a couple more questions. Nathan, do you think there's a possible future where we keep both Gradey and Jacoby? Yeah, I don't see why not, honestly. Like, I think that's actually kind of like the plan. I think, having gone through that Vision 6-9 era where nobody can shoot, I wish like we had a Gradey Dick for when we had like OG, Pascal, Fred, Scotty. It's like, Gradey would be a decent 5th guy for that group. Or like Jacoby, I think kind of fits in a lot of different scenarios. Like, those are all really, really fun, man. And yeah, I think both of the guys will be pretty cost controlled. Like there's not like honestly, I'm not ruling it out, but I don't necessarily see like the biggest sort of like bump in terms of like what their production is. So I don't see these guys getting too expensive. And I like and I think for most rookies that are pretty good on the rookie skill contract, where they gain the most value is when you sign them to like a good extension. So the way they're playing right now, I'd be willing to extend both of these guys. Gradey will be up for an extension first at the end of this season, and then Jacoby after the end of next season. Um, but to me, like both of these guys should be in that like 10 to 15 million range, maybe a little bit more, depending on how much they sort of improve. But like it rough around 15, I'm like, those are both gonna be pretty good contracts. And then they become valuable to trade. Like even if you look at the Raptors history of who they've traded at the shooting guard position, it's like Terrence Ross, when he was good as a rookie, the Raptors signed him to a reasonable extension. At that time it was like 10 mil. And then when he continued to show value on that deal, that's when the Raptors were able to flip him for like Serge Ibaka in a trade. It turned out to be pretty valuable. Um, or when they had Norm and they signed him to an extension, and then when they had a chance to, obviously, I guess they waited a little too long, but when they waited, they were moved in for Gary Trent Jr., which isn't the most value, but ultimately, like, I would rather trade rookies once they're signed for and extended on their second contract rather than sort of signing them on the first one. So, and honestly, like if one of them starts, one of them comes off the bench, I don't really have an issue with that. So there's that. Oh, we have money in the chat. Okay, this one from Power Duster 3000 who sent in $5. Thank you very much. Have you noticed that we tend to jump pass a lot? Interesting. I'm gonna look out for that. I mean, I feel like Jamal does jump passes, but I don't really feel like like. I guess RJ's always driving, so sometimes you see some RJ drive jump passes too. But maybe I gotta watch a little bit more of that because I don't know. I feel like I'm not watching as much of that for me personally, but I do appreciate the $5. Appreciate that. He also sent another $2. One is the hello and welcome scooter tee. Honestly, could be kind of a vibe. It could be kind of a vibe actually. Um, I've been thinking too because we have some hello and welcome laptop stickers. I feel like I want to print out a bunch of stickers and then do that thing where you walk past like a power box or like a stop sign and they have like a bunch of stickers on them. Like I just want to like slap a couple of hellos across the city and maybe see if anybody sort of catch on with some of this stuff here. We got another question. Darko has a lot of options this season to mix and match with units and lineups, especially the bench. I agree. I thought we saw some pretty fun combinations. Like I thought RJ IQ with bench was pretty fun. I think really like it's funny because Sandro obviously was just signed for like I think maybe biannual or maybe minimum, honestly. But like Sandro gives him a lot of lineup flexibility. Whether that's like he can play alongside a center, which we haven't seen him do yet because Yako's been injured and unavailable to play in preseason so far. But like, he can either play the 4, but he's been playing a lot of 5. Him and Collin are pretty versatile together as well. And then you're just kind of mixing and matching kind of what you need. Obviously, if you play IQ and RJ off the bench, you can't really play Jamal with those guys. You're largely looking at like Jacoby and Gradey, but like there's some good options. And I think the most important thing for all these guys is as long as you come in and play with like crazy defensive intensity, which the Raptors have done, especially for preseason, like they're going really hard. That's going to really set the tone for like pretty much everything that they do. So, yeah, this one from Caleb kind of is my idea. Yeah, I know everyone's hoping for bench mob 2.0, but in my mind, they're just hungry boys. I don't mind hungry boys, I guess. Just a couple of hungry boys. By the way, I forget where I saw this, but because I think people were asking, like for a nickname for Collin. And I kind of like the idea of calling Collin RCMB. Obviously we have the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for RCMP. Actually, I'm not going to celebrate RCMP. I feel like it's not a great time to be celebrating law enforcement. But in any case, I do like the RCMB nickname for him because he locks up a lot of guys. Like, maybe let me know if you guys, is that hitting for you guys, or is that just kind of like an old brother, like this kind of a lame nickname? Another question, bro. I love the way that BI and RJ are playing. Say what you will about bro in his contract, but he's trying to do what he can for offense. Honestly, can we give RJ can we give RJ even a chance? Like, I'm sorry, but what has RJ done wrong as a Raptor that's like so fundamentally wrong, man? Like, yeah, like is he the right player to have with this group? I think I've been on record. I probably prefer a 3-and-D type. If instead of having RJ, you had like a Derek White or even if like a Lou Dort, like a Dylan Brooks. I feel like that could really improve the team. But like, damn it, man, I don't think he's done anything wrong. Like, and I just feel like people kind of like rule him out, kind of discredit him a lot. I see a guy who's really passionate about the team. I see the guy who's wears the badge with real pride. He's willing to change his game. He's like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, it's like a big discussion. Oh my God, we're moving Scotty off ball. Like, how's he gonna cope? Oh my God, man, we move RJ on the ball, off the ball, RJ off the ball. It doesn't matter. The guy still produces. Like, you know, like I think that there's something about him. I'm just like, sometimes when we nitpick RJ, I'm just like, oh, we're just kind of like trying to affirm what we first believed about RJ, which is like what he was in New York. Obviously, wasn't a great player in New York, but like we can't be holding. I've said this before. Yeah, we can't be holding RJ to higher standards that we don't hold other people to. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, RJ, but he doesn't shoot like that efficient from three. I'm like, this guy shoots better than some of our 3-point specialists. It's like, oh, RJ, you know, he's too ball dominant. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not. He's just not. He's just not like he's not. He's never been like the top. He's led the team in scoring 2 years in a row. He hasn't been leading the team in touches. You know, his defense is bad. I'm like, bro, there's a lot of guys' defense is bad on the team. He's consistent. Like to me, honestly, I actually see RJ as quite consistent, and I've really enjoyed the RJ Barrett experience on the Raptors, which I didn't expect to say when we first got him. I'm gonna be completely honest about it. Late to Class says, hey, we were here for Malachi Flynn, Jalen McDaniels, Malik Williams, Precious Achua days. We've been through the trenches. Yeah, the trenches actually, that was all one season. that's they were all on the team at the same time. It's kind of unbelievable. So yeah, Malik Williams, bro. That might be who married Kate Scott at the end. So shouts to Kate Abdo, the GOAT. Next one, BI basically was the Pelicans point guard for 3 years because CJ McCollum doesn't count. Yeah, I do feel like the Ingram as the ball, like the Ingram as like the ball stopper. Like, bro, I don't mind the ball stopper thing because it's just like it depends on the context. Okay, if it's me, Jerome, Alex, Cash, and Ingram takes all the shots, I'm not saying this guy's a ball stopper. That's just the right play. You know what I mean? And so like it depends on the sequence of the players around you too. Again, like I haven't seen him like hold the ball for the whole possession, even once so far in the first 2 plays. So I think that's perfectly fine. He strikes me as a pretty intelligent offensive player, honestly. So yeah. Yeah. That's I guess that's most of the questions really. Like I appreciate it. If there's anything else you missed, maybe repeat the question. I'll see it a little bit more closely now to the bottom of the stream here. But yeah, just to wrap up this game before we go on to the Yankees game. I actually really liked this interview that we got one more question here from Power Dust, another $2. RJ also some real life shit last year, fam wise. Absolutely, man. Like seriously, like I mean, you know, I'm not trying to rehash this, but like his brother Nathan passed away very suddenly, his younger brother, and RJ's not very old himself, but his younger brother, who was studying, I believe, to be a pilot, suddenly fell ill and passed away, and that was his first season with the Raptors there. And I'm just like, you know, I've seen RJ sort of go through some energy levels where sometimes he's really high and he's really low, and right now I feel like he's in a peaceful state, and I'm like, you know, that's just knowing a guy, I guess professionally, in the sense that I get to see him with some scrums and occasionally, you know, have like a little bit of banter back and forth sometimes when guys are walking sort of near media and stuff like that. We're certainly not friends, you know. I mean, that's nowhere. I'm not friends with any of the Raptors. But even just getting a vibe of being around a guy, he does seem to be in a better place. So certainly very happy. That's a good point for him. So we're gonna, before we actually give out 3 stars, actually I really like this what Bobby said. So TSN's been carrying the games, and they do some sit downs with the GM and the players, and Chris Boucher, not my friend, he's not on the team no more, man. This doesn't count no more, does it? But anyway, there's been some interviews, and I actually really liked what Bobby said in terms of just speaking about his roster and the vision of the team.
Stops with Scotty and Brandon. You have 2 all-star caliber wings. Scotty always says that I like to pass. Brandon likes to score. With someone like Brandon, reminds me of DeMar and Pascal and Kawhi, some of those guys. Every single day they're in the gym. Guys like him, they can work on every single move. They have every move in the bag. They have every shot release. The amount of work and the skill level to me stands out at his size. Scotty's in year 5. I think he's maturing. I think probably even those who've been around him from the media point of view, he's growing up. I think expectation obviously comes with that, the contract expectations, and he knows that. And so So how does he block that noise out? How does he lead the team? I always tell him the baseline for him is his energy, his defense, his rebounding, his leadership. And then you have Quickly and RJ, who, you know, are also young in the backcourt, but super dynamic players, right? 20-point scorers very easily. So how are they sort of playing off Scotty and Brandon? And then the bench unit, you know, they're young and hungry. They haven't done a lot. I think sometimes, you know, I pump the brakes on the bench mob 2.0 just because that group accomplished so much, but it does feel like that. They want to compete. They want to play for each other. And I think that's one big thing that Darko's instilled is just sort of the selfless brand of basketball.
Yeah. And I think that sums up his team pretty well, really. It's just like, that's the vision, right? Like that really is the vision. You obviously have your top two guys, and you were getting to know Brandon, but clearly you don't get to be as skilled as Brandon if you don't work out like that much, you know. And Brandon clearly is a guy who loves to work on his game. All he does is hoop, kind of thing. I liked what he said about Scotty too. I mean, I think this is the second time where Bobby's sort of spoken about Scotty's role this year, and you're not hearing a lot of terms of like, okay, he's going to lead the team in terms of scoring, or, you know, he's going to be our main playmaker or anything like that. But I think it's also like he's setting pretty realistic, you know, boundaries and expectations too, right? Like the baseline has to be defense, rebounding, his energy, and how his leadership is around the team. And honestly, like I actually really respect. I mean, I guess I respect Bobby in general, but I respect the way Bobby's sort of like drawn boundaries with Scotty, because I feel like almost the way Scotty's come up like with the team, it's almost been like no boundaries. It's like, you know what, like we will want you to do everything. We want you to try everything. Nothing really matters, even if you fail. Like there's almost like too much boundlessness in terms of like what you're allowed to do and like what you're encouraged to do and like what your role is. I think that can almost be kind of hard, because it's like now you're fixated to like trying to be everything versus like I like Bobby coming in and being realistic about it. Do these 4 things for us because they're important. All those things that he listed are super important to winning, and a lot of those things are super exclusive to what Scotty can do. So like I think that was actually I mean, obviously we got the change in management, and I like that approach from Bobby. Like it's just, I don't know, Bobby's just a pretty sensible guy. Like you know, he's not gonna overstate things. You know, you're not gonna catch Bobby on no Darko rant or Masai rant. Like he's not as red blooded as those guys. But yeah, like I really like that. And of course, like, yeah, obviously IQ and RJ, you know, they sort of contribute in the young guys. And so far that's what we've seen from the team. So last things from this game before we get on to some Blue Jays talk. Yeah, your 3 stars. First star, I guess I'll give it to Brandon again. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 of 15 shooting, 5 of 7 from 3. Really got the Raps off to a great start. Really enjoyed his game. Second star, I'm going to give it to CMB. 12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, 4 of 8 shooting, knocked down a 3 as well. You know, I think that was fun to watch. Got to the foul line 3 times, finished all 3. Again, had the play of the game for me where he blocked the Malik Monk 3 and then got out to the other way for the N1 dunk in transition. And then third star, hard to pick between Jacoby and Gradey. But if I had to, just based on, wow, this is tough. Damn, I feel like now I know how Darko feels, man, picking between these 2 guys. Damn. You know what? I'll give it to Gradey. Gradey. I really like that he had a tough start, but like he really like locked in, and for like a 10-minute stretch there, he was just doing everything. And I thought he did a great job. He had a play where he actually bodied a guy a little bit too. I thought it was really fun actually, because you know Grady's, you know, big focus has been to improve his body year over year. This is 3rd year, and every year they talk about him getting stronger. I just saw him body a guy a little bit today, which was nice because he actually bumped into a guy. And then he was the one who rose up strong for the shot, not the defender putting him off balance. So he had 14 points in 15 minutes on 6 of 7 shooting. Good for Gradey Dick. And Jacoby, I'm sorry, man. But you were just slightly, just a wee bit lower. But, you know, both of those guys played great. Your Gerald Henderson Award winner, I already said it, but I'm going to give that to Nique Clifford. I thought he played great in the second half. 10 points, 9 assists for him. Honestly, he served up a bunch of lobs at the basket. Helped that the Raptors were kind of playing like just, I've got to say, pretty silly basketball, undisciplined basketball, but he was cooking, man. I mean, I know he's older, but like big forward, you know, kind of like 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", that range, has some athleticism too, can definitely dunk on a guy, but he was getting downhill, making some really nice plays. So shouts to Nique Clifford, man. I think he's going to be pretty good for the Kings. Another guy who, when his shine wears off, I would love to steal him, just like I love to steal Keegan Murray as well. But best of luck in Sacramento, though. You know, we're all hoping the best for you. So that's it for the Raptors side of things. It is time now where we pivot to being a Blue Jays show. And man, if you haven't seen this clip already, you got to see this clip.
Dale, the Yankees lose.
This is
Yankees lose. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Hey, let's do it again. The Yankees lose.
This might be the greatest clip I've actually seen come out of Toronto sports, man.
Yankees lose. Let's go, baby.
But you don't take it personal, I get it.
One more. The Yankees lose.
Oh my God.
Yo, the best part is seeing Derek Jeter not laughing in the slightest, man. Look at A-Rod, bro. Look at A-Rod's face.
Llámame. Dale, te llamo de una vez. Gracias.
Papi.
Gusto en verlo. Gracias.
Oh, hold on. We gotta rewind, man. Where do they show Derek Jeter's face? Hold on. Look at Derek Jeter, bro. You got Big Papi. David Ortiz is cracking up because that's his catchphrase. And they're interviewing Vladdy in the locker room where there's champagne going all over the place. Vladdy's the one who comes up with a "DAAA Yankees lose," which is just incredible. And just look at Derek Jeter's face, bro. He's like, God damn it, man! I want to get on the field himself. Honestly, I think Jeter probably would have done a lot better than Anthony Volpe, the shortstop for the Yankees. For DAAA Yankees, actually, they're actually just rebranded to DAAA Yankees now. Because I believe I looked it up, and I think I saw a tweet where it said Volpe had 10 strikeouts and was 1 of 14 in the series. So he didn't have a lot of uncharacteristic errors, which is his usual thing. But man, like I know Jeter's like pissed off because like, yo, they still haven't had a shortstop nearly as good as me. And I know Jeter got a little bit of that Kobe thing of like maybe he's a little overrated, big market, whatever. But like you can't deny the winning and everything like that. But look at him, he's so cheesed about this whole situation. And shout out to Vladdy, man, because it's that quote he gave. He's like, yo, I hate the Yankees. There's nothing more than I love to beat the Yankees. And then to go out there and back it up too, man. Like first off, it was great watching a series where you had like these like just two absolutely monster hitters between Vladdy and Aaron Judge. And like I know the reputation for Aaron Judge is like what people call him like the James Harden of baseball. You know, like that's tough first and foremost. That's just genuinely tough. But I don't know, man. He struck fear in my heart every time he came up to the plate. I know he had that big strikeout in game one, but like. It felt like he was hitting everything. The Raptors, or obviously the Jays had to intentionally walk him. Big intentional walk today, by the way, was pretty important. But yeah, just watching these two like all time. Well, they're not okay. Truthfully, I feel like obviously Aaron Judge is an all-time hitter. Certainly Vladdy has moments where he can reach that, but watching them this series was kind of like what watching like Vince Carter versus AI must have been like in 2001. Where like both guys have 50 balls in the series, you know what I mean? They go down to the wire. Like that's what this felt like, man. Like every time Vladdy's at the plate, that was inevitable. And obviously we saw one of the biggest plays of the entire series with the grand slam. Where again, I can't stress this enough. The guy was just aura farming the whole play. He was just like, you know, like shimmying. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna even leave the box. I'm gonna get like I'm literally gonna just take a pitch right down the middle, make you think like, oh, you can get the fastball by me, and then bam, next time down, I'm gonna whack it 400 feet. But like it was generational watching these two guys hit. I honestly like I can't profess to being that big of a baseball fan. I'm definitely like when the Jays are good, I'll watch. But man, like pure entertainment, just like these two guys delivering every single time. Even at the end. And I think when we got to like the ninth, when they were trying to like close the game, even Aaron Judge came in and like hit a single. And I think maybe knocked one run in or something. It didn't really matter at the end, but it was just like, dog, this guy, like, I don't know. It felt like we could never really get him out. So, great series. I think the big difference, obviously, was Vladdy's part of a whole team. And, like, watching the Jays, man, like, I mean, I've seen a lot of Jays. I mean, definitely watched more Jays games this year than, like, pretty much in a whole decade. And, like, I mean, we were even on the show, like, in May and early June, be like, you got to watch the Jays. You got to watch the Jays. They had this stretch where they won like 22 of 28 games, which is incredible to do in baseball. But like, I think what was really attractive about the Jays, and this is not like groundbreaking stuff for anybody who's watched the team, but it's just like the fact that the whole order contributes, we've seen seasons where the Jays are like carried by like two or three guys, or what I mean, but like this is like a true team. And baseball is such an individual sport because there's so many individual interactions, and it's like very different from even like basketball or soccer or the other sports I typically watch. But like this Blue Jays team managed to make it a team game every game. Like the amount of pinch hitting, the amount of guys coming in for defensive purposes, the adjustments. I mean, today is like the ultimate example of what made the Jays like a team that is worthy of going to the to the conference finals. Is just like you look at the fact that they went for a bullpen day, and by the way, huge the cojones on Varland to give up that 3-run home run to Judge, which obviously was a huge part in that choke job by the Jays in Game 3. They should have won in the third game, but to have him just stand on the mound at the start of the fourth game and just come out and throw, like, I think he got 4 outs, like just ballsy stuff, man. And seeing like the way they use 8 different pitchers, everybody did their job. Everyone's nervous about Hoffman at the end. He gets 4 outs, 4 of the biggest outs of the game. You're seeing like, okay, Vladdy's doing his thing. He gets the Jays, I think, their first run, because of course he does. Springer gets on with the double and he gets cashed in right away. So the Jays are playing from ahead, which is great. Especially psychologically, the Jays took the first lead like in all the games. But then you watch the game and you're like, okay, it's tight. It's like 2-1, 2-1. And every time obviously the Jays are bringing in new guys and just narrowly squeaking by with a couple of like relievers. And then it's like the bottom of the order. It's like, obviously that huge error by Jazz Chisholm allows them to stay on instead of a double play. They get first and third, and then I think they cash in 2 unearned runs in that inning. But it's just like it's like Miles Straw is getting in there. Nathan Lucas is getting in there. This guy's like, it's like the perennial G leaguers basically, and they're like grinding in for huge moments. You know what I mean? And obviously Kirk was sensational in Game 1, but towards the end he kind of cooled off. Doesn't matter though, because like, you have all these other guys. Ernie Clement, bro. I mean, Ernie Clement was like supposed to be just like a guy. Ernie. What's the basketball equivalent of Ernie Clement like with this Jays team? Like this is like you pick a guy off of like the scrap heap. This would be like if Sandro went into the season and was like one of their best players and was like consistently like, I guess the comparison there is like, Ernie is like smacks left-handers and Mamu's a left-hander, and they're both great vibes and stuff like that around the team. But he's kind of just fitting around exactly what they need. Play second, play shortstop, play some third. And then like you look at him, you're like, okay, this is another one of those like John McDonald clones of like, okay, he's gonna play great D, but like has no power in the bat. Bro, Ernie, first time this guy's smacking home runs. But what do you have, like 9 hits in this series? Like he's so good they started they started throwing at him. Like that's actually like it was just a beautiful team. And it was a great team effort too, because like so many guys made contributions. And honestly, got a huge shout out to the manager, John Schneider. I wasn't necessarily that big on John Schneider before this. It didn't really help that like I've seen him like in person 2 or 3 times, and the guy was drunk both times. I was like, what's happening here? But okay, whatever. But like this guy was pulling like maneuvers, man. Look at this. Like the fact that, again, the Yankees are like the best hitting team in baseball. Like they have like freaking 8th hitters have 20 home runs type of thing. And like you see like the way he managed the bullpen, just like who does that? This is like playing Moneyball and it's actually working. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I guess I'm not keeping up with like what baseball trends, what the zeitgeist looks like in terms of like, how teams play each moment from moment to moment. But like when I saw in the 3rd inning, Sir Anthony Dominguez, who's supposed to be like our 8th inning setup guy, like super high leverage guy, coming in the 3rd inning, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like I don't see anybody managing like this, and it worked. And again, the confidence and the belief in himself too. Because obviously the Jays went early to the bullpen in Game 4. That didn't really work out, right? And the bullpen, obviously, guys who gave up some of those big runs, like Varland, like they're back on the mound the next day. So credit to the players first and foremost, but the manager believing in these guys. And of course, part of that's helped by the fact that like, okay, Scherzer just wasn't really it, and Bassett wasn't really it, and Barrios, whatever. Like none of those guys were like, I wouldn't really want them to start anyway in the third, in like a pivotal game in Yankee Stadium. But to execute that strategy, the timing of it, like the putting the walking Judge when he needed to walk Judge, even this whole strategy of like the contact, like bro, like Vladdy went to the plate 18 times and he struck out 1 time in the whole series, and it was on a ball. It was on a ball 4. Like Like, that's unbelievable, man. Like, so it's been such a fun season, and I'm so happy for these guys again to celebrate. Speaking of John Schneider, let's actually hear from John Schneider. A little language, obviously. So, if you're listening with kids in the car, maybe well, I'm giving you fair warning now.
One of you fucking bullpen game, Nathan Lucas, Miles Straw, all you motherfuckers. It takes everybody every day. Start spreading the news, bitches. We're going!
Yo, first off, great speech. Second of all, so happy for Blake Murphy. Nah, man, that's an unbelievable stuff. And honestly, you could tell like they're behind the manager this whole entire way, man. They believed in him all season. It's amazing. I think. Oh yeah, good point here. There's also an interview that Kevin Gausman, the Jays, well, I would say ace, but kind of co-ace based on the way that Trey Savage has played too. But where's this interview that he gave as well? I think I got that video too. Just been legit the fourth quarter. I'm with all due respect to all the Raptors third unit guys, Olivier Sarr, David Roddy didn't even play. Yeah, it's AJ Lawson. Apologies to you guys, but I was watching Jay's clips for a lot.
Ready? It's gonna be. We're not done yet. We're fucking fired up. We're ready to go. I don't give a shit. We're fucking go. Let's go. Fuck yeah. Let's go, Canada.
Yeah, man. To the victor goes the spoils, baby. That's amazing. Yeah. By the way, I made this joke on Twitter too, but that's basically every Masai press conference was. We're going to win in Toronto. I don't give a shit. Fuck the other team. Like, that's actually kind of amazing. I'm happy we have these moments. Also, the trolling, New York in the background is amazing. There's a clip of Vladdy. I think he's dancing to what I believe is Aaron Judge's walk-up song, where it mentions I'm the King of New York is one of the lyrics, and he's dancing along. Bro, that is excellent stuff right there. Like, I feel it's almost like a LeBronto type moment in terms of just how much people are fired up about this, man. So, yeah, man, it's just I guess it's not even slander really. It's just great stuff. I'm kind of leaving the Jays themselves to do the slander because for me, I just feel this overwhelming sense of pride for this team. I'm proud of like how much they brought, I guess like the city of Toronto together. I mean, it's always great. I mean, Toronto's a great sports town. Like we're just cursed with like generationally disappointing teams for the most part, but. Like the way people are getting behind the Jays, like I mentioned, like it was so great. The last two nights I was, congrats to my friend Craig Long. He's the chef at Patois, and he's actually one of the three judges on MasterChef Canada this year. So he invited me to, just a bunch of friends to go to a watch party of his show, and after the watch party, like we pivoted to watching Game 3 together. And whatever, the Jays lost that game, but it was great to just like be able to spend time with friends. And then today it was also like another watch party. I got to go and see my friends at UFT. Shouts to Joe, shouts to Dave, all the students that were there too. That was really cool. But like you're just gathering together, and then of course I'm going home trying to watch the Raptor game, and I'm looking in the windows, like I said, like everybody's locked in, and I'm like, that's cool, man. Like it makes you feel tied into something collectively, and we don't have enough of those moments, and I'm happy that sports, as silly as sports and honestly as sometimes dumb as sports are, like we could still get those moments. Like that's pretty dope, man. Like I'm actually really happy for just the whole city as a whole. And of course, like obviously the run's not over, man. Like we're obviously going to be going, and we're going to see like if we're going to play Detroit or I forget who Detroit would play, the Mariners or something, but yeah, we'll figure it out, man. But this has been a really good run, and I hope that come April, if everything goes right with the Raptors season and things click and guys stay healthy and a couple guys break out and stuff like that, like I really hope that we get that excitement with the Raptors too, because like there's nothing I love more than like going to the games and seeing all the people there all excited and real stakes, and seeing like the lineups outside of Raptors like Jurassic Park, and like it's just cool, man. Like it's what else do you do this for? Like it's cool to win a preseason game. It's cool to mix a couple of highlights. It's cool to sort of push a couple like agendas. It's fun. Like it genuinely is fun. It's all part of sports nowadays. But There's nothing more fun than physically like getting together and like building a community off of this thing, man. So, yeah, that was pretty sick. So, last thing, let's just watch this clip one more time before we all head to bed.
Dale, the Yankees lose.
Wait, hold on.
Dale, the Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Bro, he's stunting on two of the biggest Yankees of all time with Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. Like, that's amazing.
Yankees lose. Let's go, baby.
But you don't take it personal.
One more. The Yankees lose.
Yeah, so I appreciate everyone for listening. Actually, one last comment here to take us off. This one from Efrith. Unification of collective consciousness where shared moments is what life is truly about. We could accomplish so much if we could do it outside of sports too. And hippie mode. Honestly, the way I'm feeling right now, I absolutely agree with you. So thanks everyone for listening. The Raptors win. The Yankees lose. The Blue Jays win. The Maple Leafs win. It's a good day in Toronto. Take care. We'll see people down at Scotiabank Arena on Friday when the Raptors play host to the Boston Celtics. Thankfully, it won't be one of these goddamn 10 p.m. starts, so we don't have to be here at 1 a.m. in the morning talking about all this, but we'll be obviously back on the React Pod then. And yeah, just thanks to all of you guys for listening. It's been a Hello Welcome podcast. We will catch you in 2 days. Oh, also Banter Pod on Friday as well. So get in your questions if you haven't already. Email info@stephenlebron.com if you have questions, or just hit up Alex in general. But we'll be talking about our lives, so if you want to take a break from Raptors and just chat a little bit and just have a little bit of fun, tap in Friday. So Banter Pod Friday, React Pod Friday. We're gonna have a good time. See you guys. The Yankees